When it comes to the Charlie Kirk assassination, Erika Kirk, TPUSA, Candace Owens, Baron Coleman, Tyler Robinson, this Twiggs fella, what I do is I try to just give an update, kind of just a breakdown, kind of a Charlie Kirk assassination, respectfully, for dummies, because Baron Coleman and Candace Owens, they will give you a 4 hour a day deep dive. And if you don't have the 4 hours a day to watch that, this is a pretty good place to come just to get the skinny on what is going on, which is exactly what I'm going to do for you right now. Welcome to the Rossano Report. Welcome to the Rossano Report. Hi, I am Joe Rossano. So tragically, as we all know, almost a year ago, September 10th, 2025, Charlie Kirk was assassinated in some capacity. Some say Tyler Robinson fired a bullet from a rooftop and then escaped until they found all the evidence in the darn woods. And then you have folks that think it's an inside job. It's TPUSA, it's Erika Kirk, etc. My opinion, and this is all that this is my opinion here, is a lot of this is just really suspicious, folks. The whole thing is really, really suspicious. So let's kind of start where things really got suspicious, which is the moment that Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Now, they claim the caliber of bullet is a 30-06. And as I showed in the video earlier, the whole neck would have been blown off, folks. I mean, the bullet didn't hit his spine and turn around and lodge into his skin. This is not a bullet of that caliber, so that's sketchy. You got a 22-year-old kid, all right, lays down on a rooftop, takes one magical dream shot and scores a next shot. You ask Navy SEALs, that's not easy for one of those guys to do something like that, a sharpshooter. Because what they've done is they kind of turned the Charlie Kirk assassination into the Kennedy assassination, where Tyler Robinson, he's Lee Harvey Oswald, and it's the CIA, and it's Erika Kirk, and it's TPUSA, and it may even be our strongest ally in the Middle East. That is where this story goes day in and day out. Now, Candace Owens is a very good example. She has inside information. She got friends at TPUSA. She knew Charlie Kirk personally. So I would say a lot of her reporting is very good. You can't say it isn't. I mean, she's got the inside dope. And then you got Baron Coleman. The guy was an attorney. He's a smart guy. If you watch his show, I mean, he gives you all kinds of graphs, etc. And it seems to me to be what I would say pretty accurate reporting within his repertoire. All right, but what I have a hard time getting my head around, and this goes to all facets. Now, if I were on trial for my life and I was facing the death penalty, some of the evidence that I saw in this pre-trial, I got to tell you, folks, it was questionable. I'm going to go so far as to say it was sketchy. I don't like missing evidence. All right. I really, really don't. The movie Presumed Innocent. Okay. I love that movie. One of the things that happened in that movie is they were going to do fingerprint analysis. They were going to have an expert on the witness stand and say that, hey, we found fingerprints on a glass. Only they had no glass. So they really could not discuss evidence, as the judge said, that nobody can find. Now, we have bullet fragments. From what I understand, there's 7 of them. And from what I understand, 3 or 4 of them are missing. You see what I mean? I'm the defendant now, and they can't provide my defense attorney with that evidence. That is generally, in most cases, in a trial that is someone none of us ever heard of, that is grounds for a dismissal. They can't provide the evidence to the defense. That's generally case dismissed in most cases. They have a weapon that they found in the woods, buried under a tree, fully put back together. You got a kid who's limping around campus in skinny jeans, changed his outfit a bunch of times, went to Dairy Queen, seems to be wearing a different type of outfit at the police station than he was when they were filming him all over the campus, or supposedly it was him, because my opinion, as you can see by these images, is this guy just looks older. It just doesn't look like Tyler Robinson. It really doesn't. And Tyler Robinson's, my understanding, is about 5'10" tall. It's about my size. I'm 5'9.5". If I'm wearing Doc Martens, I'm about 5'10". All right. Tyler Robinson, this young man looks like he's about 6'2". That's sketchy. That's weird. That's strange. That is just for me. Speaking for myself, who does not have legal experience. Baron Coleman, feel free to come on the show and tell me where I'm going wrong here. That's just not enough evidence to put someone in the darn electric chair, or the gas chamber, or a lethal injection, or whatever it is they do in Utah. Lord knows. Firing squad. I have no idea what they do there. But a lot of the things that just went on are sketchy. I'm using the word sketchy. And here's one sketchy thing. All right. So Charlie Kirk, as we all saw, was assassinated under a canopy on a college campus. And then they put concrete over the crime scene. I mean, does anybody think that's weird? That's strange. Now, I am sure that there is probably a legal expert out there, or an FBI agent, or whatever the case may be, that could say that is completely reasonable. That's generally what happens in situations like this. I would have thought, okay, now again, talking to your average lay person here, I would have thought there would have been tape around that entire crime scene for 6 months, with people digging and spraying that stuff. It turns blue. It makes that it's blood, that type of thing. Concrete days later. It just, again, no wonder why people think it's crazy. And then you have the governor of Utah telling people, hey, don't pay attention. There's nothing to see here. Go outside and touch grass. That's the worst thing to tell most folks, because most folks are not going to go outside and touch grass. They are going to, boom, get real suspicious and start asking lots of questions. Now, before we get into those questions, and we have a lot of those, before we talk about Candace Owens, Baron Coleman, and we do the Charlie Kirk assassination, again, respectfully, for dummies, and all things Tyler Robinson, and all things this Lance Twiggs fella, I'm going to ask you to kindly please subscribe, like, comment, share. That's important. Click the notification bell for all latest episodes of the Rossano Report. Erika Kirk. All right. If you watch Candace Owens, I have an inside joke here. Okay, I got a drinking game. All right, I'm gonna simulate it here. Every time Candace Owens says Erika, it's called When Candace Says Erika, You Gotta Drink. Okay, so you watch Candace Owens. I'm talking the first 5 minutes. That's the object of the game. And every time Candace Owens says Erika, you gotta drink. Folks, you would throw up. You get sick. You get alcohol poisoning in the first 5 minutes. Erika, 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 Erika. Now, I'm not saying Candace Owens is wrong, because a lot of the things that Candace Owens has said do raise my eyebrow. I think it's sketchy. Her and Charlie Kirk, okay, to those of you who don't know, and again, this whole thing for dummies, she was supposed to be a trad wife. People my age, it's traditional wife. All right. She was like my mother. My mother worked as a diner waitress, and then my mother stayed home with the kids. Right. My mother was a traditional wife. My father went out with a lunch bucket and a sandwich. And when he came home, my mother had dinner on the table. We all sat down and prayed and ate dinner. Right. That's a traditional type of thing, what they call a nuclear family. Next thing you know, the guy's dead for, figuratively speaking, 15 minutes, and she's chief executive officer of his company. Sketchy. She's wearing like leather pants and this and that, dancing, selling merchandise of her late husband's images at his celebration, right? That's weird, guys. Come on. That's weird. Let's just say I'm the most famous guy in the world, all right? I'm president of the United States, and I'm assassinated. And during my memorial, my wife is selling mugs with my face on it, and T-shirts of freedom. I got to tell you, I'd roll over in my grave. I'd jump out of my grave and snatch her ball headed for doing that. And I'd tell her to change them damn leather pants while she's at it and get home with the kids. Now, that's not a sexist remark coming from me. The fact is, that is the relationship that Charlie and Erika Kirk had. And that was an agreement they made mutually. So yeah, I'm not trying to say women get home into the kitchen by any means, but that was their relationship. And next thing you know, she's on his podcast all the time. She's running all over the place. She's at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Almost another assassination went on there. And the way she behaves and the way that she presents herself is not what we lay people, not experts, think that a grieving widow should behave. I would hope, speaking for myself, okay, I'm assassinated. I want my wife in tears for like 2 months. All right. I don't even want you to be able to find her. Mrs. Rossano is not available for comment. My wife just comes on my podcast and says, "Hey, welcome to the Mrs. Rossano show. My husband's dead. Please make a donation." Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. However, and this is the part I always get back to, there really is no, I'm talking about physical evidence to support that Erika Kirk orchestrated her husband's assassination. Now, everybody perceives things their own way. I got family members tell me to shut up. Candace is right. You don't know what you're talking about. You're dumb. Family members tell me that. But when I watch Candace Owens, right, I walk away from that show from her podcast, which is pretty darn popular, God bless her, with the following thoughts. Geesh, she must really think Erika killed Charlie. I mean, and again, I'm not saying that Candace Owens ever went on the air and said that Erika killed Charlie. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is she certainly infers it. Now, again, that's from this viewer's vantage point. Okay. That's the way my brain operates. That she has all but accused Erika of being, and this is another sketchy thing, some kind of an asset, some type of an asset that either works for our government or our so-called largest ally in the Middle East region. And they all got together when Charlie Kirk didn't do what they all thought he was supposed to do, when he was getting too close. So they eliminated him. It sounds like a Netflix show to me. And I'm not saying that that's not true. I'm not saying that didn't happen. It is possible. Okay. It is possible. What I have a hard time, okay, again, is just this logic thing just really creeps into my head sometimes. Now, you take Erika Kirk, right? Now she's an asset. She's working for somebody. Somebody's handling her. And she says, "Hey, look, need you to get into this TPUSA. I need you to start dating this Charlie Kirk fella. And I want you to give us reports on what he's doing. All right. We're giving him a lot of money. He's making us a lot of money. He's saying things we want him to say, Shabbat Shalom, or whatever that stuff is. And we need this guy to stay on the up and up." Right? Erika agrees. Miss Arizona can't say I would have told her no. As a young guy, of course, I'm a married man. And they proceed to start dating. They get engaged. They get married. I got to tell you, that would just lead me, again, your average lay person, your normal guy who hangs out, does normal things, goes to dinner and lunch and, I don't know, watches shows with his wife. I would just think sounds sketchy. And I would have to say that, man, Erika Kirk is pretty darn good at this. What an agent. I mean, somebody trained her really, really well to do this. And what if, here's the what ifs, and here's where this really gets cloudy for me. Who would have even known she would have even been able to get that close to Charlie Kirk? or met Charlie Kirk like me, all right? I'm the agent here, okay? They want me to be Charlie Kirk's best friend. Can I go to TPUSA and meet Charlie Kirk? Really? They're going to let me in the door? They're going to interview me and say, well, hold on, Charlie's coming in. Again, the way that they present this is that Erika Kirk somehow magically got the guy to marry her. And then she had two of his kids. That is how well she's playing this role. Now, I'm not saying that that's not true, but all I'm saying is that's just a lot of things had to go right for her to infiltrate not only Charlie Kirk, but TPUSA. And it just seems to me that would have been awfully difficult. And wow, man, she did it. And sometimes I say to myself, geez, what if Charlie Kirk preferred brunettes and he really wasn't into Erika or whatever the case may be? Then what would they have done? Sent a brunette in there next to try it? I mean, that's where I always have the difficult time being convinced. Not saying she's not, but convinced that Erika Kirk had anything to do with this. Now, I'm not saying she didn't because she acts weird, folks. I got that. She does. It's not a murderer when you act weird. So then we moved to TPUSA. Look, bunch of sketchy folks here. These guys are sketchy, allegedly sketchy, or whatever I'm supposed to say. They are. But getting to Baron Coleman, you see, Baron Coleman shows you things that are a little more technical. The guy standing behind Charlie Kirk during the assassination didn't move quickly or didn't flinch. Sounds reasonable. It really does. But one thing I learned as a soccer player, you never know what the other guy on your team is going to do. Okay? It seems very reasonable to me when you are one-on-one with the goalkeeper to dribble in and take a shot. There are some guys, for some reason, who get one-on-one with a goalkeeper who pull up and pass the ball across the field to a teammate. You see where I'm coming from? Or when they are double teamed, any of you basketball or soccer players out there, instead of passing the ball to a teammate, they take a shot. And when you talk to the person about that, they explain that per their vantage point, they did this. So, me, speaking for myself, if I'm at an event and I hear a shot ring out, I'm hitting the deck. I am. I'm screaming, help me. Okay? Not everybody does that. Just some human beings just don't react the way others do. Some human beings just don't think the way others do. Now, this guy is supposed to flinch. I don't disagree with that. Baron, again, if you're watching, I'd love to come on or I'd love to have you on. I think that you were spot on with a lot of the technical stuff that you show the folks every day. God bless you. You got a heck of a podcast. But is there enough physical evidence to proceed in any kind of a criminal matter? And one of the off ramps that I feel that Baron Coleman takes is he says, well, this evidence isn't for court. This evidence is for public consumption or the court of public opinion. But you're still reporting it kind of like it's real, like it's a fact. I think that's kind of my beef. I got family members who swear by Candace Owens, swear by Baron Coleman, and I'm not saying that they're wrong. I could be wrong. The only thing is that I just don't feel that there is enough physical, plausible evidence to support that Erika Kirk was some kind of handler, some kind of asset that got into Charlie Kirk's world. Now, I got friends and family, they swear by Candace Owens. They swear by Baron Coleman, and I'm not saying that they're wrong. I will say this. Erika Kirk, sketchy. TPUSA, sketchy. Evidence that would suggest that Erika Kirk was a co-conspirator in Charlie Kirk's death is sketchy. It's not enough to prove beyond a reasonable doubt to me. It's sketchy. But again, what did I say first? She's sketchy. and her behavior is sketchy, and she's lied about things for no reason that are sketchy. I get it all. I get it all. Let me conclude with Tyler Robinson. And I got to tell you, folks, there are just some things about this whole pretrial I just cannot get my head around. You have, again, 22-year-old kid who fired a masterful shot and scored a next shot. I said that already because I had to say it again because it's amazing to me. And then you have his DNA, Lance Twiggs' DNA. Now, Lance Twiggs has immunity, so they could never prosecute him for anything, no matter what DNA they find. There's missing bullet fragment evidence. You got grainy pictures that I got to tell you, just don't look like Tyler Robinson. The guy looks like he's 30 and he grew 4 inches. He changed his clothes a whole bunch of times. Sometimes he's limping, sometimes he's not. He shoved a rifle into some skinny jeans. You have a bunch of expert witnesses. They seem to stumble all over their testimony as if they made it up right there on the spot. You have people saying that the driver of the car that Tyler Robinson was in, the guy's bald, etc. It's just, if that's really the evidence that they have to put this 22-year-old, maybe he might be 23 now, into the gas chamber or hit him with a lethal injection, I got to tell you, if I were Tyler Robinson, if I were on trial, I would just want a little bit better evidence. So, is the Charlie Kirk assassination something we're all going to find out 50 years from now? I doubt it because it's been about 63 years or maybe longer. And we still have no idea really what happened to John F. Kennedy. I mean, did Lee Harvey Oswald fire 3 amazing shots and score a neck and a head shot and have one bullet go into the governor and turn around and go into the president? I mean, it's sloppy, and it always has been. But stay tuned. I will come back and give you updates. All right. I'm not going to bring you forensics here because I don't have time to watch Candace Owens and Baron Coleman. I assume no more than some of you. But if you want the broad strokes, and they're pretty good broad strokes, and reasonable commentary without accusing everybody of everything, I ask you again, please click the subscribe button, like, share, comment, click that notification bell for our latest episodes of the Rossano Report. I kindly ask everyone to please take some time to adopt yourself a pet. I say God bless you, my dearest friends and fellow Americans, and we will see you next time.